Today we're going to read Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Chapter 11, Part 2. Let's start. "Consider your verdict," said the king to the jury. "Not yet! Not yet!" the rabbit hastily interrupted. "There's a great deal to come before that." "Call the first witness," said the king, and the white rabbit blew 3 blasts on the trumpet. "Doo, doo, doo," and called out, "First witness." The first witness was the hatter, with a teacup in one hand and a piece of bread and butter in the other. "I beg your pardon, your majesty," he began, "for bringing in these. But I hadn't quite finished my tea when I was sent for." "You ought to have finished," said the king. "When did you begin?" The hatter looked at the March Hare, who had followed him, arm in arm with the Dormouse. 14th of March, I think it was," he said. 15th, said the March Hare. 16th, added the Dormouse. "Write that down," said the king to the jury, and the jury eagerly wrote down all the 3 dates on their slates, and then added them up and reduced to the answer of shilling and pence. "Take off your hat." "It is mine," said the hatter. "Stolen!" the king exclaimed, turning to the jury, who instantly made a memorandum of the fact. "I keep them to sell," the hatter added as an explanation. "I have none of my own. I'm a hatter." Here, the queen put on his spectacles and began staring at the hatter, who turned pale and fidgeted. "Give your evidence," said the king, "and don't be nervous, or I'll have you executed on the spot." This did not seem to encourage the witness at all. He kept shifting from one foot to the other, looking uneasily at the queen, and in his confusion he bit a large piece of his teacup instead of the bread and butter. Just at this moment, Alice felt a very curious sensation, which puzzled her a good deal until she made out what it was. She was beginning to grow larger again, and she thought at first she would get up and leave the court, but on second thoughts, she decided to remain where she was as long as there was room for her. "I wish you wouldn't squeeze so," said the Dormouse, who was sitting next to her. "I can hardly breathe." "I can't help it," said Alice very meekly. "I'm growing." "You have no right to grow here," said the Dormouse. "Don't talk nonsense," said Alice more boldly. "You know you're growing too." "Yes, but I grow at a reasonable pace," said the Dormouse. "Not in that ridiculous fashion." And he got up and very sulkily crossed over to the other side of the court. All this time, the queen had never left off staring at the hatter, and just as the Dormouse crossed the court, she said to one of the officers of the court, "Bring me the list of singers in the last concert," on which the wretched hatter trembled so that he shook both his shoes off. "Give your evidence," the king repeated angrily, "or I'll have you executed, whether you're nervous or not." Thanks for listening. Until next time, it was me, Mira.